Welcome to the Weather Guru Podcast for Sunday, July 19th, 2026 for the lower 48 United States. Thank you for joining me, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you hit that subscribe and like button so that you can be notified of the latest weather videos for your area in the United States here. Appreciate your support. Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to be starting off with the hazards, then we're going to be going into the thunderstorm forecast, and we're going to be talking about our newest tropical depression number 2 in the Gulf of America at this time. So stay tuned for that. Let's start off with our current hazards for Sunday, July 19, 2026. Looking here, we can see we have that heat continue to surge up the Mississippi Valley Delta area and into the Midwest and the Plains state, the high plains here. So if you're near the Dakotas, Nebraska, Kansas, back towards St. Louis, Des Moines, back into Memphis, Tennessee, Little Rock, Fayetteville, Arkansas, down towards Greenville, Mississippi, and the SIP Delta of Mississippi, into New Orleans, Baton Rouge, places like that, Alexandria, you're going to be under this heat advisory. Extreme heat warnings are in effect for areas along the Mississippi Delta as well, south of the Memphis area. So places like Greenwood, Mississippi, Conway, Arkansas, and places up toward Little Rock was going to be in that, and Hot Springs is going to be in that extreme heat warning for Sunday, July 19, 2026. Now, out east and toward the Carolinas and the Virginia area, the Tidewater area, we have a continued heat warning in effect for that area too as well. And this includes places like severe thunderstorm watch for the areas like Roanoke Rapids, Norfolk, Virginia Beach, the Outer Banks of North Carolina, back into the interior, Raleigh, Durham, the Triad area, Greensboro, back toward Raleigh, Durham, and south toward Lumberton and Fayetteville, North Carolina. So be out and look out for those storms coming mainly in the late afternoon as the heating accelerates here. Southwestern Utah corner, we have a flood watch here, and this extends into much of the southern Utah as well as the border between California and Nevada, Lake Tahoe area. There's a flood watch in effect for your area in green, highlighted respectively here. As we go to the SPC, the Storm Prediction Center Outlook panels for Sunday, July 19, 2026, we basically have a situation where there's no tornadoes outbreaks, but there is a chance, there is a 2 out of 5, a slight chance in yellow. As I mentioned, the Carolinas back toward the upstate country of South Carolina. Green, this includes Greenville, Spartanburg, Hendersonville, North Carolina, up into the mountains, back toward North Georgia mountains, coming through 85 there. So if you come in that district, be very careful. These storms could ramp through Charlotte as well, and Mint Hill, and back up into North Carolina, and even the southern part of Virginia, from Emporia, Virginia Beach, like I said, Norfolk, Chesapeake, back into that area, Danville. And then we'll have that slight risk 2 out of 5 for the Dakotas, Jamestown, Pierre, South Dakota, back into the western half of Minnesota, from International Falls back toward Bemidji and those places like that. So there's a chance for that we can have hail coming in there, greater than 30% chance for the Dakotas and northern Dakota. They're shaded in that black and white and yellow there for the Dakotas. So that's the outlook for today. Elsewhere, clear across the country, cooler temperatures, and that smoke declining more so than ever. So now we have the tropical depression number 2 here. Current location stats of it is it's out in the Gulf of America here. Max sustained winds are at 30 miles an hour. Its movement is stationary, so it's not moving at all here as of 5 p.m. Eastern time in the Gulf of America. This is the 4 p.m. advisory. We get another intermediate advisory at 8 p.m. and then, of course, the full advisory from the National Hurricane Center at 11 p.m. As the system is expected to become a tropical storm by 1 p.m. Monday, by tomorrow afternoon, it'll become a tropical storm, and then it'll get the name Bertha. Bertha is the next name on the list, Bertha. So the winds continue to increase with this. It's going to remain a tropical storm throughout its life. Through Wednesday and Thursday, it's supposed to skirt the coast of Louisiana and then make landfall, possibly in Texas, somewhere west of the Houston metro area. So Houston, you want to make preparations for a weak tropical storm, possibly a tropical storm that can get up here in the next couple of days here. And so we're going to look at the key messages here from the Hurricane Center. We have a tropical storm warning probably going to be posted in effect for now. The depression is expected to gradually strengthen. They could bring tropical storm conditions to the Florida Panhandle late Monday, where tropical storm force watch is in effect right now. So, like I said, interest in Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas should monitor the storm carefully for progress here. And it's going to be a storm that's going to be a rainmaker here. But if you look at the satellite for the storm here, you can see most of the convection is this big dry slide of air in here. And you can see the convection swirling here. So it's stationary. It's trying to get itself together here. It's being invaded by dry air. It's just not very organized right now. But it is supposed to become a tropical storm tomorrow night, as I said, tomorrow evening and Monday evening. You can see the convection as most of it's off to the west and southwest here, and some convection around the Big Bend here, Cedar Key, Steinhatchee, Apalachicola Bay here getting some rain. And as the system continues to move, if it moves westward later on tonight and tomorrow and skirt the Gulf Coast here, it's going to bring heavy rainfall that's going to extend probably from Pensacola, Mobile Bay into Mississippi, Gulfport, Pascagoula, and then finally into New Orleans area by Tuesday, Wednesday. And that's what this is going to be, a big rainmaker for right now. And this could cause problems here. But right now, you can see it's not as poorly organized here. And the center is kind of hard to fix right now. And so this is going to be one of these systems where the center of circulation is going to be moving several times here along its plot lines here as they continue to go throughout this plot. So that's why we should continue to monitor the updates coming from the National Hurricane Center and from your local weather stations every day if you're along the Gulf Coast, because this, even though the direction is pretty much set, the intensity and the uncertainty of the center of the storm, where it may occur, where it may make landfall later on this week, and then also it could slow down. This timing could change because right now this thing is stationary and it's expected to move somewhat a little bit here. But like I said, it's a slow mover. It could change, and the landfall timing could change later on this forecast period, especially as we get into late Wednesday into Thursday. You want to keep an eye on that. People from Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas especially later on in the forecast period. Right now, we do have a tropical storm watch, like I said, from Apalachicola Bay back toward the Perdido Key in Orange Beach, Alabama. The border between Pensacola and Alabama. That's what we have in yellow here, that tropical storm watch, meaning tropical storm conditions are possible in the next 24 to 36 hours for that location. And that makes sense because they're going to be on the eastern side of those winds, the dirty side, the eastern side of the storm, and northeastern winds coming out the Gulf of America like that. And or I should say southeast winds, east to southeast winds coming off the Gulf of America and piling that water up and wind up. And it shouldn't be minor surge with this thing because, like I said, it's a depression, but it's still going to be a slight rise in water and rough conditions and boating conditions, and a lot of showers coming in, rain showers coming in, as you can see already. So that's going to be the main threat for right now. We will continue to update you here at the Weather Guru as we continue to see Tropical Depression 2 become Tropical Storm Bertha later on Monday afternoon. It takes winds up to 39 miles an hour for it to become an officially named storm, and right now the winds are holding at 30 miles an hour, and that's why it's a depression right now and not a tropical storm, and its movement is stationary basically right now. And so looking at the discussion here, I just want to point out a couple of things here with the forecast advisory here. They have the system becoming a 50 or 60 mile an hour tropical storm and making landfall as a strong, moderate to strong tropical storm. But if it should stall out, and if the wind shear should relax, it's possible that it could make it up to a minimal Category 1 hurricane by Friday. But we just have to wait and see if conditions become favorable. Right now, the Hurricane Center says the shear could briefly let up during the middle of the week. And if the system is still over water at that time, hey, anything is possible. It can strengthen some more, as noted here in the forecast discussion. So the models, the computer models, the AI models, all of it remains fluid here. And so they just took the intensity here as of low confidence given the uncertainty. Like I said before, this is what I just said. The intensity forecast is of low confidence given the uncertainty of how much land the system will interact with. It's another thing too. So right now we're taking the middle of the road, saying it could be a moderate 50 to 60 mile an hour moderate tropical storm making landfall once again sometime Friday into Thursday and Friday night, late along the possibly Texas, Louisiana coastline. But that all depends on, like I said, once again, if the thing is going to stall out, if it's stationary, if it gets better organized, which many people are waiting for right now, and that's should be occurring as soon as tomorrow night. And then we get an official name of we get official low-level center, so it become more vertically stacked. Right now, it's not vertically stacked. It's somewhat vertically stacked, but it's not quite. The shear is blowing it apart here. This shear that's affecting the system here, this northerly shear is tearing it apart right now, and so that can change. We've seen these systems blossom very fast in the Gulf of Mexico and in other areas. They something started off as weak. Next thing you know, it's a Cat 3, a Cat 2, or something in the Gulf of America. So we've seen these before where it looked like it was weak and then it stalled, and it just grew in size. Next thing you know, you're looking at a Cat 1, a Category 2 hurricane. So we no need to keep our guard up. Keep our guard up with that system as well. Now, these are the forecast high maximum temperatures for today, July 19, 2026. Everywhere across the country is warm today. There's going to become a break for the Northeast as well. That's coming up this forecast period in Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday this week. We're going to be much more seasonable temperatures and much more less humid that's coming up too as well for the Northeast, Great Lakes, and the Midwest. The Southeast is going to continue to be warm, and out west is going to continue to be warm as that ridge continues to build around the Intermountain West there as well. Just want to make you aware of that. And we also have the this is the GFS model here. I just want to show you what the current surface map looks like. We have that high pressure front wind control over the Great Lakes, Chicago area, and that's spreading warm temperatures and calm winds and mixing out a lot of that smoke. So we have cold yellow air quality for the Northeast now compared to last time it was cold purple the other day. We have these little showers here along this little boundary, this little old stall boundary here. So we have showers into the Ohio Valley from Louisville, Lexington, down into Nashville, Clarksville, and into the mountains of western North Carolina. And then I show you that complex here that's going to sweep into here, providing those slight enhanced risk for storms here later on today. And then we have tropical depression 2 down here. You can see down here in the Gulf of America. And then out here we have the heat low around Denver as well. The monsoonal flow is somewhat eased up here, and you can see just brief little tiny showers here on the GFS model. And if you look closely out here in the Pacific, we have Tropical Storm Elita, which continues to make havoc. It's supposed to be a hurricane by tonight, and it's going to go into cooler waters, not affecting anything, just more of a storm for boaters' entrance out here. So you want to keep that in mind too. So this has been the Weather Guru update for July 19, 2026. Thanks for listening, ladies and gentlemen. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Thank you for your support. Blessings, and have a great rest of the weekend. I'll see you in the next episode tomorrow.